It's officially happening, ladies and gentlemen. XDefiant will be closing June 3rd, 2025. This game will officially go offline. This is insane. For a game that was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer is now officially being canceled. What happened? Down below in the comment section, put your answers. Do you think a game will ever be the Call of Duty killer? So first off, I just want to go ahead and point out what XDefiant actually said on their Twitter. They pretty much stated that the game will be sunsetted, which is just a video game term for that the game will officially be canceled. And you know, it came with a lot of interesting response from the community. You know, some people laughing and, you know, dancing on their grave, and some people actually being sad about it. If you're asking me, this is competition. Competition in the field is great. This is new jobs that were birthed into the industry. We need new jobs for game developers and just in general in the gaming space. So the fact that they couldn't get it done, this game just is done for in June 3rd, 2025, it sucks. Overall, it sucks. In the beginning, when there were rumors like, hey, this game's not doing good, apparently a CEO came out and said, or not a CEO, the CEO of Ubisoft came out and said, hey, if the game does not do well by one of the updates, we're gonna can it. And that was a rumor that a lot of people were listening in on. If I'm not mistaken, the person that broke the story was Tom Henderson, and he is just a video game journalist. He breaks a lot of stories, he leaks a lot of games. It was a very credible thing that, hey, this might be true, and it seems like it was true. And the fact that Mark Rubin at the time came out to double down on this, to me, this is what is a problem with these free-to-play games. Everybody is looking at Fortnite and trying to just redo it. It's the same thing all over again. When Minecraft came out, we had a whole bunch of games that were similar to Minecraft. When all of these phone games came out, like Flappy Bird, Clash of Clans, everyone's trying to get the piece of the pie after it's done. And this is the same thing with Fortnite. It's just a free-to-play system that everybody thinks that they can use and say, hey, we're just gonna go free-to-play, we're gonna drop a battle pass and it's gonna work. Guess what? It's not gonna work. This game should have came out, it should have been free-to-play like it was, and it should have had all of its content on day one. They shouldn't have been doing this whole season 3, season 4. You didn't make it to season 4. You didn't make it. You should have just dropped the content. When the game came out, you should have just dropped the content. I know I'm getting loud, but it's like we're purposely trying to milk as much money from the consumer, and it doesn't make any sense. It's the reason why we're gonna have to fire people 6 to 8 months from now, because you don't know what you're doing. So as we can see, this was leaked out from Charlie Intel that 177 people were being laid off from 2 of the studios being closed by Ubisoft, and then it was corrected that no, it was actually 277 jobs. It's close to the holidays. But again, this is what happens when you have a studio who, let's be completely honest, what has Ubisoft done in the last like few years? Like their last really good game is Siege, and even then, like, they are disrespecting Siege and Siege's players in the community. So it's just like they don't understand what they have, and this is another case where they messed up. Again, another point that I can take out from this game, I said free to play, the fact you had to download its launcher. Put the game on Steam. Steam has millions of players, it has a community, and it has all of the things that you need to make sure that your game can be there and have an active player base. Now, I'm not saying it's always gonna work, but for a studio like Ubisoft, they were being hungry and they just wanted people to download their launcher. So that it's that annoying thing today where corporate people just want you to be involved into their ecosystem. Ubisoft just wanted people to download their launcher. The launcher sucks, man. I hate to tell you, the launcher sucks. The game should have been out on Steam. And please do not go in the comment section and state that, hey, you can still get the game on Steam if you do the workaround. I'm not saying that way. I'm saying legit, like how you can get Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Steam or on Battle.net. It's the same game, but you can buy it on Steam if you want to. There's a difference. If you know, you know. And yeah, the engine, very trash. Cheaters in the game. We really need to possibly in the future have a very in-depth video on like just cheating in games in general. It's very weird, and it's starting to get to the point to where it's just messing up games. And honestly, I do think this is a developer problem. This is their fault that they did not figure it out. You know, this was the post, like I said, that the official XDefiant team came out with. And then if we look at what Mark Rubin actually said, if I'm not mistaken, he was the executive producer for this game, and pretty much just saying that this game is going to be getting canceled. You know, they're going to be officially shutting down, and that anyone that purchases it will be getting a full refund, and that you have to do it within 8 weeks. You know, I can understand. He is extremely mad. I want to say, I could be wrong, I feel like they knew at this point when this was originally tweeted out, because I think the rumor came out, obviously this says in October, I think the rumor came out around August 2024. I want to say they kind of knew the numbers weren't looking good on console, and if you like kind of could see what they were averaging, you know, on PC, it wasn't good, was not good. So as I said, Tom Henderson was kind of the person that first broke some of these stories. This is what he originally stated in the beginning. Like I said, this did happen in August. He stated, you know, XDefiant is on borrowed time. I don't know who came out and said it. I believe it was a CEO or somebody. They had some type of meeting. This is usually something that happens, and then something like this again. Like, come on, bro. Do we understand reports of toxic work culture? I'm not gonna lie, like, this happens in the gaming industry. Hell, this happens in the software, like IT, software development, startups. Like, this just happens because a lot of people that don't develop the game, like, they just help work on other stuff. They think making art, developing, coding, and like making music, they think that ish is easy. It's not, you know, especially towards the programmers. I hear it all the time, like, you guys can just code that stuff easily, you know, like it'll take you no time. That's not the case. And in this case, they probably had a lot of high expectations that's just not very like realistic. You gotta look at Call of Duty different. Call of Duty is a game that has decades of systems, automation, data in place. That is the like tools, frameworks. That's the reason why they can make a game literally yearly. 5 plus teams working on a game. It's not just one team working on a game no more. There's a reason why they can get games out yearly at a consistent basis like this. It's because it's not just one team working on a game. When this first came out, I was kind of interested in it because I was like, this isn't good. If I'm someone that works at their studio and there's a rumor being talked about that, hey, we're on borrowed time, I'm looking over my shoulder like, yo, we about to get fired. Somebody probably came in with high expectations. Hey, we're gonna kill Call of Duty, but they didn't give anything to the fans that was different from Call of Duty. There's nothing different about this game other than the fact that it's just a different shooter. That if you were tired of playing Call of Duty, go try this out. You'll get bored after a couple hours. You'll get tired of it because of the cheaters. Like, come on, man. If you're gonna say these things, these very bold statements, and you know how toxic Call of Duty fans are, actually come through with something real, something serious, a real anti-cheat that actually works, some real content day one, not this pay to win battle pass nonsense where it's like, okay, the only thing that they did that I will give it to them, there was no heavy skill-based matchmaking in this game. But as you can see, just having that in your game today is not gonna keep people engaged. Yeah, it got them a little bit of you know, a community. They had that, I don't even know if I can find the post, but I'll probably put it on the screen somewhere, where they said like when the game first came out, when they finally got the game to come out, they hit over like 2 million players in like 2 hours or whatever, 1 million players in 2 hours, something that was a huge stat for Ubisoft. But what did you do with it? You didn't do anything that was different, and that's why this game had a problem. And just the lies, I feel like you got to be honest. Tom Henderson comes out with this story in August, and then more stuff is being talked about the game. People are saying from internally like, hey, no man, we're good, the game's not dying. But like, sometimes you gotta be honest. So I shouldn't be like making fun of this, and I'm not making fun of this, but I am just kind of showing what like the community was saying. When this news leaked, everybody was just taking a crap on XDefiant's grave. Like, people were making fun of it. People were saying how this developer should have took the bag. If you don't know Aches, he was somebody from Call of Duty. Honestly, he does have a tiny bit of this backlash to blame, just because like some people were preying on downfall. If you're gonna have one of your developers go on a podcast, talk trash, say, hey, I'm gonna give the bag, our game's gonna be better, especially when there were times last year when Call of Duty was down bad and you were pressing when your game wasn't released, and you was like, I'll make that call and this game's gonna be fire, way better than Call of Duty. And then,
can XDefiant kill Call of Duty? And let's just ignore XDefiant. Let's just say, can another FPS kill Call of Duty? Call of Duty is already dead. Traditional Call of Duty, the Call of Duty that we grew up with, the Call of Duty that we loved a lot, like the 2006 to 2000, and let's just say 18, that has died, and that will probably never come back. Call of Duty has moved on to a brand new era, I think, with Warzone and the incredibly strong skill-based matchmaking. There's a ton of variables we can list. And so I don't think the argument is, can XDefiant or another game kill Call of Duty? It's, can enter any game, in this case XDefiant, revive what Call of Duty was?
They canned this game in less than 6 months. I want that to really sit in. Imagine being a developer, an artist. That one right there is crazy. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people on Twitter were gonna go crazy. And then I also wanted to look at the people that were affected. I'm not making fun of this person. I might honestly blur this person's name because they don't know that I'm gonna be showcasing them. But I think this is important because I can see like this person had joy when they first started working here. It was a brand new IP. Boom, we're going to do something different in the space. And then not even, you know, like a year later, canned. And, you know, it's a fear that I want to get into games. I'm afraid of that right there. A lot of games don't really, I don't know. It's a very weird feeling because game development is one of those things where it's entertainment, it's passion. If you're in the field, you're usually in it for passion, unless, you know, these publishing guys, we're not talking about, these guys don't care. Usually you're in this for passion. So the worst thing is like just going from project to project and it keeps getting canned because things that you can't control. It's like one of the biggest fears of mine because you literally can't control it. As I said, more people just making fun of the game. It's a very, very, very sad day. Like I said in the beginning, competition is great. I feel like that's what's messing up with a lot of the games that we play today, just because there's no competition. Right now, 2K has no competition, and that is the reason why they can just every single year slowly increase how much money it takes to upgrade your player with VC. They can do that just because they have the only real simulation basketball game. There's no NBA Live. So just to kind of give an example, not to say there are other shooters, it's just Call of Duty is that one shooter that kind of has the FPS industry in a headlock. So the shooting industry is in a very interesting space. I'm tired of battle royales. I really hope we stop getting battle royales. Unless a team really wants to remaster the H1Z1 and do it the right way, leave it alone. Let's go to something else. Let's do traditional shooters, FPS, arcade shooters, or realistic shooters. If you're a realistic shooter, state that and be that. If you're arcade, do that as well. I'm just tired of like the battle royales. Let's just leave that in 2015, okay?